All right. Good morning, everyone. And thank you so much for joining the Funded Fast Chats. I am Rochelle Butler. I am with the SJV CEO, and I just want to start by saying thank you to everyone for joining us this morning. A quick little housekeeping item here. Please make note that your microphones have been muted upon joining the call, and that's simply to minimize background noise. If you have any questions or even comments, please feel free to drop those into the chat box. I encourage you to do so at any point during our time together this morning, and I'll be sure to set aside some time toward the end to address those questions. So over the past year or so, we here at the Funded Fast Chats, we've been discussing the topic of electric vehicles and related items pretty heavily. And that's because there are a lot of opportunities out there. And more importantly, there's a lot of money flying around out there. And so we want to make sure that you have the most up-to-date information possible so you can take advantage of all of those opportunities. So some years ago, we did have a very special guest on the Funded Fast Chats to discuss the CalEVip opportunities. Since this is an ongoing program, we thought it would be a great opportunity to do an update, as well as talk about some other related opportunities to that program. So to help me with this discussion, I have invited a very special guest, Norah Kyassa. Norah is the Clean Mobility Outreach Coordinator with Grid Alternatives. Welcome to the Funded Fast Chats, Norah.
Hi, Rochelle. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Yes, we are happy that you're here. We are going to get into a little bit more about Grid Alternatives as an organization a little bit later on in the discussion, but I just wanted to give you a couple seconds for you to kind of just tell us what your role is with the organization.
Yeah, of course. So as Rochelle mentioned, my name is Norah, and I work as a Clean Mobility Outreach Coordinator with Grid. So what that focuses on is I primarily raise awareness and drive engagement with the two financial incentive programs we'll be discussing today, Communities in Charge and CalEVip 2.0. So raising awareness and driving engagement can include attending community events and educating community members on the two programs, researching and directly contacting those who might be qualified applicants, and participating in things like this to reach a digital audience.
Well, we are happy that you're here. And before we take a deep dive into those programs themselves, would you mind just doing like a brief overview of the different types of EV chargers? Because I think it's really important for our audience to be on the same page in terms of the technology we're going to be referencing during the discussion.
Yeah, of course. So the equipment the program will cover are called EVSEs. So EVSEs stand for Electrical Vehicle Supply Equipment. So this includes EV charging ports, which are the actual connectors, so the little thing that goes into the vehicle. Currently, there are 3 different types of charging stations, and each level is denoted by the amount of charge the charger can produce. So first, there are level 1 chargers, and these chargers take an extremely long time to reach a full charge and also aren't covered by either program. So we won't focus too much on that one, but following that are level 2 chargers, which can produce a full charge for a 300-mile battery in about 4 to 8 hours. Finally, there are level 3 or direct current fast chargers. These chargers can produce an 80% charge, so about 240 miles on a 300-mile battery in about 20 minutes.
Well, it's always really good to know, like, to understand the different chargers and the best application, most importantly, right? So you're making the best decision about the equipment. So I do want to talk a little bit about the first program that you mentioned that Grid Alternatives works with, the CalEVip program. So if you wouldn't mind just giving us a high-level overview of that program and what does it do?
Right. So the CalEVip Financial Incentive Program is an EV charger rebate program exclusively for underserved and low-income communities in the state of California. So the program is funded by the California Energy Commission, administered by the Center for Sustainable Energy, and Grid Alternatives stands as the equity partner on this program. So we focus entirely on reaching out to those underserved and low-income communities. The rebate is meant to cover up to 50% of the total project costs and is capped up to $100,000 per connector, which, if you remember from earlier, is the part of the EVSE that actually gets connected into the vehicle.
Awesome. So what I would like to talk about, because that's the thing that kind of eludes me sometimes, that I want to lay out for our partners. Can you kind of walk us through the application process and the timeline for someone who's looking to install an EV charger and also utilize that program? So really quickly, you were kind enough to provide a visual for us. So I'll go ahead and pop that on the screen, and then you can go ahead and walk us through that.
Great, and thanks for putting up that visual since visuals are always super helpful. So the application window for CalEVip has defined regions, and the 23 application cycle will focus on providing funding to northern and southern regions of California. So this would include, for example, Humboldt and Sacramento County as a northern region, and San Diego and Los Angeles County as a southern region. The application window for the cycle of funding opens from September 13th, which is, I believe, tomorrow, yay, to November 17th, 2023. Awards are provided on a tiered system, with Tier 1 or ready-to-build applications being awarded first. In order to be considered a Tier 1 applicant, a site should have a final utility design and an issued permit to install. Following Tier 1, there are 2 other tiers, and then after those 2 tiers, there's a conditional waitlist. So if you look at this visual that Rochelle put up on the screen, step 1 is getting to know your key partners, which would be Grid Alternatives, getting to know your site, which is a site assessment, and then you want to get to about step 4 in the process, which is getting to know your budget and preparing your application and documents in order to be considered a Tier 1 applicant and receive funding for the program.
Now, you mentioned something that I know everybody's going to be asking. You mentioned that the application is open to the northern and southern regions of California. So does that mean that the folks in the San Joaquin Valley and the Central Coast have completely missed their opportunity to take advantage of the programs, or will there be funding in the future?
Right. So as I mentioned, the CalEVip program application window is cycled regionally. And the current window is focused on providing that funding to northern and southern counties. The previous window was actually open to eastern and central regions. So the San Joaquin Valley applicants would be considered in the eastern region. So the next cycle of funding will honestly depend on the chosen program design. But the goal is really to ensure that the communities that are historically underserved and really underrepresented in the transition to renewable energy, such as the San Joaquin Valley, are provided the opportunity to participate in these programs. So if you didn't have a chance to apply in P1, please do not be alarmed, because the San Joaquin Valley has not missed the opportunity, and I would advise those interested to subscribe to the CalEVip and the Grid Central Valley newsletters for the latest information regarding the program.
Yeah, so we will really be encouraging partners in those regions to have their projects shovel ready, because that's the best way to get approved for the program, right?
Exactly.
So, okay, so I just want to pivot here really quickly to the other program that we mentioned at the top of the presentation, and that's the Communities in Charge program. So would you like to go ahead and just give us a high-level overview of what Communities in Charge is? I'll go ahead and put the graphic up here.
Yeah, of course. So Communities in Charge is a 3-year, $250 million financial incentive program for the deployment of level 2 EVSEs across the state of California. So like CalEVip, the program is funded by the California Energy Commission, but is administered by CalSTART. Like the CalEVip program as well, Grid serves as the equity partner. So Communities in Charge focuses on installing charging stations where communities live and gather, as level 2 chargers are great for destination charging. 50% of the total funding of the program is invested toward underserved and low-income communities. There are 8 types of community connectors: multifamily housing, tribes, congregations, schools, healthcare, nonprofits. And the rebate provides a base incentive amount of $3,500 or 75% of the eligible cost of the program, depending on whichever is less. An additional $3,500 is provided to multifamily housing projects specifically, and project sites for tribal communities, which is located on this visual that Rochelle was kind enough to put up. So like CalEVip, Communities in Charge is also funded on a tiering system, with Tier 1 applicants being awarded first.
Awesome. So as I understand, I'll go ahead and stop the share here, but as I understand, Grid's role within the program is not only outreach, correct? So would you like to kind of walk us through some of the other services that Grid provides in support of the program and our partners?
Yeah, of course. So Grid's highlight is that as the equity partner, we do conduct outreach, but we also provide technical assistance support with the goal of providing educational and technical assistance to communities interested in applying, but who may lack the resources or familiarity with the technical aspect of electrical vehicle charging. We're also a thought partner in the program design of the program as well.
Okay, so I would like to kind of zero in a little bit on the technical assistance piece. At what phase of the process should Grid Alternatives be contacted? Like, is there like a qualification process, or who should we contact at Grid for services? And do you have like a target audience?
That's a really great question. So to answer the first part, contact Grid whenever you are interested in applying, and we'll be more than happy to support you in your application process. So like I mentioned, the technical assistance that we provide includes a technical report, which is completely free of charge. It includes an assessment of the property's location and electrical capacity in order to determine what type of chargers would be a best fit for the site, as well as how many chargers a site could theoretically install. We also will provide you assistance in locating and connecting potential site hosts to EVITP certified electricians within the area. Another way in which we assess potential site hosts is through researching and locating stackable funding incentives to kind of bridge the gap between funding and implementation of the project. The process of applying to these programs, I know, can feel a little daunting, but Grid's goal is to really ensure that applicants are supported throughout the entire process and really as prepared as possible in order to be considered a Tier 1 applicant. So whenever you feel ready, whenever you're interested, definitely reach out to our team at Grid and we'll be more than happy to assist you.
It's always nice to know that those resources are available for our partners, because most of our partners here at the SJV CEO are under-resourced, and so they just don't have a dedicated person that can take off of what their normal duties are to do these types of things. So we're glad that you all are around. And I believe that is all we have in terms of the discussion about the program. So I kind of want to shift a little bit into maybe some FAQs. We don't have any audience questions right now, so I'm going to put you in the hot seat, Norah.
Okay, go. I'm ready for it.
So you did walk us through a lot of the different ways that Grid is able to assist our partners, but I think one of the things that is a concern, particularly for under-resourced communities, is what is the out-of-pocket cost? Is it going to cost them something to utilize your services, and what does that look like?
Great. So that's a really great question, and a question that we also get a lot as well. So as I mentioned, our services are completely free of charge. If you are a qualified applicant, we are more than happy to help you with technical and education assistance, which again involves providing an interested applicant a technical assistance report to analyze the electrical capacity of a site. We also research, like I mentioned, the EVITP certified technicians, which is the special type of technician required for a site assessment for the chargers. We're also always available to answer any questions or concerns that you might have regarding funding, permitting, any other questions that cover the scope of the project. And I do want to note, though, that we don't actually cover costs of the project. So for example, the electrical installations, the EVITP certified site assessment that occurs, we don't cover those costs, but we do our best to connect you to those resources to ensure that you are able to get your application Tier 1 ready.
Awesome. All right. So, all right. Well, I have one more question for you. I'll keep you in the hot seat for one more question. Now, you did mention earlier in the discussion about how important permitting is. So can you kind of walk us through the permitting process for the installation of the EV chargers?
Yeah, so in order to be considered a Tier 1 applicant for either program, applicants must submit an issued building permit provided by their authority having jurisdiction. That word is just a fancy word for, do you need to go through the city or the county to get this project approved? So because the permitting process can take quite a long while, the state of California actually now requires that all cities and counties be streamlined for permitting, so that applicants applying to this process receive their permits in a timely manner. Thankfully, most cities and counties are permit streamlined, and for folks interested in checking out whether their city or county is permit streamlined, I recommend heading over to the GoBiz website, which I'll also provide as a resource following this, and that will include all the streamlined cities and counties. If your city or county isn't streamlined, please do not panic. You'll still be able to apply for either program and receive that issued building permit to qualify for a Tier 1 application.
Okay. Well, that's what we have for everyone this morning. I would like to say a special thank you to our guest, Norah, for being with us this morning and for walking us through those amazing programs. Don't worry if something does come to mind later on, if you didn't get a chance to get your questions in, or if you're watching a recording of this, please look out for our follow-up email. We somehow always manage to get that out the same day as the recording, but it will have a ton of information. It'll have links to the important items that we discussed during the chat this morning. It will also have links to related Funded Fast chats, so you don't have to go searching around for them like a needle in a haystack. Also, please keep in mind there are a lot of ways to find us these days. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen one more time here while I'm talking through this. You can find the SJV CEO on Twitter, on Instagram, on Spotify, and on YouTube, all at SJV CEO. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Next month, we will be right back with you on October 10th at 10 a.m. We will be discussing the Water Infrastructure Systems Efficiency Program, or WISE. If you are an agency that moves or treats water in any capacity, you won't want to miss this. Stay tuned for more information on that, and I hope everyone has an amazing day. Stay safe and stay healthy. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.